The news with Gary Liberatore and meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us here on this Tuesday morning. I'm Gary Liberatore.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
That radar is lit up to the west of us.
Lots of lightning, Gary. Over 500 lightning strikes in the last hour. So let's just jump right into it because we've got a busy day in store for us today, and I'll break down what we are tracking here in your forecast in a minute. So let's begin with what's going on the radar right now. You see here we've got a couple of bands of heavy rain to our west. It's slowly approaching eastward into our area. We zoom out a little bit, and again behind me you see this number here. That's just the last lightning strikes in the last hour. A lot of them, especially up toward Watertown and Jefferson County and toward Rochester and down toward Pennsylvania. So there's a lot of heavy rain, a lot of thunder and lightning. With this system coming in, what we're tracking is the possibility of localized flooding. Now, it's an alert day tonight through Wednesday, and you're probably thinking, well, I mean, we have seen heavy rain, 1 to 3 inches. That's not too bad in the span of a day or so. Believe me, 1 to 2 inches, but there are some localized areas that could see upwards of 4 inches, maybe even more. And it's a high boom or bust scenario, and we've seen these setups before. They have missed us. We have lucked out, but when they hit us, they produce a lot of rain, and that's, I think, warranting of a Storm Tracker 2 alert day. So right now, we're tracking temperatures in the upper 60s, low 70s. We've got a couple of showers and storms today. I wouldn't call it a complete washout during the daytime today. We're going to have some dry periods here and there, but we're closely watching what takes place tonight and again through the overnight into early tomorrow. Again, we're going to do a deep dive into potential rainfall totals, how this storm is tracking, and what we know and don't know straight ahead. Gary?
Eric, thanks. In just over a month, students will head back to the classroom.
This live look of downtown Cooperstown is brought to you by the Leatherstocking Credit Union.
Welcome back to News Channel 2 at sunrise. Time now is 5:12, and here's a look at your weather on the way, and more importantly, the weather on the way that we're tracking starts this afternoon and will linger through the next few days, at least when it comes to possible impact. So again, I do want to stress the high boom or bust potential with this system here, and a lot of some of these models here are going to kind of show you guys what the scenario of bust will look like. In fact, right here, watch what happens as this band of rain rolls through. The heavy rain basically forms along this line. Now, there's some variability as to where this low pressure center is, because shifting that center of that low by a few miles has widely different scenarios here, and that's something that the models and the data are just having a very tough time calculating right now, because if that low pressure shifts its way a bit more to the west, that surge of rain is going to slingshot its way right into central New York, dropping 1, 2, 3, 4 plus inches of rain in some of these locations here. Now, as of now, this model here uniquely has much of that rain falling to our east. And that's where most of the data has this heavy rain zone here down south of the Catskills toward the Hudson Valley. But this yellow zone is the uncertainty zone as to where the rest of that flooding potential could take place, and that includes central New York. And it's enough, at least in my opinion, to warrant an alert day, which again will be in alert mode starting tonight through tomorrow based off of that flood potential. And again, wrapping things up here with the weekend forecast, an early preview of it. It actually is trending a bit more on the dry side. We have some showers and storms to our west, but they actually begin to fall apart before they reach our area. We'll keep you posted, but it's trending a bit less rainy than we are initially thinking the last few days. Gary?
Eric, thanks. Even with that forecast, the Boonville Oneida County Fair opens this morning. The fair has exhibits, midway rides, and games.
Hey, what's all the excitement?
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everybody, on this Tuesday. So today we're tracking a slow-moving low-pressure system that could impact us in terms of flood risk as we head into tonight and tomorrow. Here's a live look at downtown Utica right now. It is pretty quiet here in the downtown area right now, and temperatures are hovering at 69 degrees with humid conditions. But as we take a look at the radar and satellite, we've clearly got some rain and thunderstorms on our doorstep and within the next few minutes or so. In fact, some isolated spots, including Boonville, saw some of those downpours and some thunder and lightning moments ago. And there's more on the way here. Slow-moving system here. And again, the biggest concern with this is flood potential. Now, again, not sugarcoating it at all. A lot of this rainfall risk is boom or bust. Basically, we could see barely any of this heavy rain. Some pockets maybe gets half an inch to an inch of rain, but it's the boom potential that has us concerned because of this wraparound rain right here, basically dragging in all that moisture from the Atlantic. So let's zoom in here on our SkyCast. So today, as you see here, we've got rainfall slowly approaching. We're going to see after that rolls through here some dry slots by the early afternoon. The concerning time frame begins as we enter the evening through the overnight here, as we start to see that south wind drag in all that rainfall, and that'll continue through the overnight. Now, actually behind me, let me scoot aside here, that's where the model right now, our in-house model, is showing where that heavy rain is going to be. It could move its way east or west. That's the uncertainty. We know there's going to be heavy rain. We know there's going to be some spot in an area in the Northeast seeing 2, 3, 4, 5+ inches of rain. Just the more likely zone is right here heading toward the Catskills, and that does include central New York. Wraparound rain continues Wednesday afternoon through Wednesday evening. A couple of isolated downpours inside of that too, producing some additional heavy rainfall, pockets of rain, and then lingering showers and overall drizzly conditions throughout the day Thursday, damp with temperatures in the low 70s. When it comes to rainfall, again, there's a lot of variability in the data here, but some of these spots picking up 2, 3, 4 inches of rain, mainly in the downstate areas. But again, that does include the risk zone here in central New York. Your 7-day forecast, because of that risk of flooding, we have an alert day for tomorrow. It's mainly through the overnight into Wednesday, and then lingering showers Thursday. Friday so far looking pretty nice, and this weekend again is trending a bit more on the dry side. We are watching for some pop-up thunderstorms, but for now it doesn't appear to be a complete washout. And again, today I'm not thinking it's going to be a complete washout during the daytime, but just keep that umbrella handy and just have the ability to head indoors if you need to.
Yeah, hope for the best when it comes to that flooding.
That's right.
Eric, thank you. The time right now is 5:20 once again, and thank you for joining us for this half hour. If you are planning to head up to the Boonville Oneida County Fair, well, you may want to take an umbrella with you, just in case. Eric, some rain is heading in our direction.
Yeah, that's right, Gary. In fact, some rain already fell in Boonville in the last hour or so. In fact, let's take a look at the radar scans because we've got some heavy rain approaching us from the west right now. Here's your forecast in a minute. Right now we look at the latest radar scans, and there's a couple of downpours between Utica and Boonville right along Route 12. And to our west, we've got another line of showers and thunderstorms toward the Camden area in northwestern Oneida County. And to our south, some more thunderstorms along the western edge of Shenango County. And zooming out, well, we still have some decent instability in the atmosphere, thunder, lightning, and heavy downpours locally. In fact, in the next, I would say, couple of hours, this band is going to move through our area. Upwards of 400 to 500 lightning strikes in the last hour or so. So again, lots of lightning here this morning. A lot of bark and no bite, though. I mean, yes, there's a lot of lightning, but there's really no damage to track right now. In fact, the only concern we're looking at is flood potential, and that takes place mainly tonight through tomorrow. That's why that time frame, we will be in alert mode. Giving you guys a heads up for that because of the possibility of localized flooding due to the setup of this system, which has a high boom or bust potential. I'll do a much deeper dive here coming up in a few minutes. But again, today we start out on the warm side. We are in the 60s. We climb into the mid 70s this afternoon. Not a hot one today. And in fact, we have a couple of spotty thunderstorms to track, so not a complete washout either. But again, we're tracking the rainfall potential tonight, flood risk overnight through tomorrow, and what follows as we head throughout the rest of the week coming up in that full forecast. Gary?
Eric, thanks. With the midterms now less than 100.
This live look of downtown Cooperstown is brought to you by the Leatherstocking Credit Union.
Welcome back to Sunrise on this Tuesday. Our photo of the day today brings us to a beautiful view of Sequoia Valley and a sunrise taken by Joyce. What a shot here of some of that morning fog we saw yesterday and the orangish hue of the sun. If you have a beautiful photo like this with a sea of fog in the distance there, go to WKTV.com/weather/pics. Always looking forward to seeing all of your great submissions and looking forward to seeing it right here on News Channel 2 at sunrise. This photo and every photo of your morning brought to you by GPO Federal Credit Union. Well, we got a busy weather day ahead of us. Well, mainly busy weather stretch between today through Wednesday, maybe even early parts of Thursday here. And this is the leading edge of it right here. Scattered thunderstorms and showers to our west. They're moving in, bringing heavy rainfall, lightning. That's the only risk right now, but as we head into tonight and tomorrow, we have some flood risk. We'll do a deep dive into that in a few minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks. And severe weather and a possible tornado tore across some Chicago suburbs on Monday. You can see just how flooded the streets became after heavy rain hit the area there. Drivers trying to brave the floodwater, some even got stuck. Now, huge trees fell on houses, cars, and into the streets, causing extensive damage. Crews throughout Chicago already working to clear debris and help restore power to residents. This as tornado warnings were issued to 3 different counties. The time right now is 5:40.
New York's most dependable weather team. Here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
We got a busy stretch of weather ahead of us over the next few days with a leading edge of a slow-moving low-pressure system arriving in the next couple of hours. In fact, for some of you, you probably already have seen a downpour or thunderstorm. Live look at downtown Utica. The city itself here in Utica has not seen it just yet, but again, other parts of central New York have seen some of these downpours roll through. Regardless, temperatures are hovering in the upper 60s this early morning, pushing low 70s. And if we look at the radar, and we got some serious downpours, thunder and lightning here. Not very characteristic to see these types of thunderstorms this early in the morning, unless you really see them in mid to late July here. And plus, we're talking a lot of lightning strikes. And I do want to emphasize, a lot of bark and no bite. These are not severe storms by any means. The only real risk from these is flood potential as we head into tonight, as these are slow movers. They're producing some heavy downpours and not really moving all too much when they roll through. There's some flood warnings in effect for some other spots out in western New York, and some of our local area is in a flood watch. Not all of us. We're talking Shenango and Otsego County. But why is there only flood watches in parts of the state? Well, it's because there's a lot of uncertainty when it comes to the amount of rain we're going to see here. So you see this low pressure system moving its way eastward. Well, the arrival of this low pressure is not uncertain. In fact, the heavy rain that comes with it is not uncertain. What's uncertain is where the center of the low is actually going to be positioned, because it's going to drag with it this band of heavy rain, and where it sets up, there's a lot of uncertainty still. Now, based off of the latest model trends, I do kind of think a lot of the worst of the rain is going to take place toward the Catskills, Hudson Valley, but if any minor shift takes place, we've seen this happen before, where it's to our west, it's to our east, and all of a sudden, we're in the bullseye. And that's why we're in alert mode tonight through tomorrow, because of that risk of something weird happening where the low pressure lags east, and all of a sudden, we're tracking 2, 3, 4, 5 inches of rain. So, right now, as I can tell you, it's not going to be a complete washout this morning or early part of this afternoon. What we're tracking here is what takes place this evening. You can see that rain band right here moving its way up to the north. That's where the heavy rain, this model is showing the heavy rain sets up well to our east. But again, we're not out of the woods just yet. Lingering showers Thursday, but the brunt of this system here takes place tonight through tomorrow. And again, there's that band right here. It's shifting east and west with every data set coming in. Models having a difficult time calculating where this band sets up. But either way, it's an alert mode day tomorrow for that flood potential. And again, high boomer bust risk. We could come out of this with barely any flooding at all. And I mean, listen, we need the rain, but we can do without flooding. I can tell you that. But either way, this weekend turning a bit more on the dry side, and especially Friday looking pretty nice as well.
Busy few days.
That's right.
Eric, thanks. We turn now to a new emotional
News with Gary Liberatore and meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us here on this Tuesday morning. I'm Gary Liberatore.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
Boy, the number of lightning strikes on that radar that you brought up are pretty intense.
Lots of lightning out to our west. Now, thankfully, it's just lightning. Usually we see those. We're kind of panicking. It might be severe storms, but nothing severe this morning. Let's take a look at the radar scans here as you begin your forecast in a minute. And again, there's a lot of activity here, a lot of bark, not a whole lot of bite with these storms, but I can tell you right now, they're producing some pretty heavy rain, and now they're entering northwestern and northern Oneida County right now. Madison County now entering Hamilton, just outside of Norwich in Chenango County, and they're going to continue to move their way eastward as this band of rain slowly shifts its way east. So we're tracking these downpours and thunderstorms this morning. The biggest risk just being heavy rain and lightning. No severe storms right now. But we are going to be entering alert mode tonight through tomorrow. And that is due to the possibility of excessive rainfall with flooding, 1 to 3 inches region wide. Now, here's the thing. I tell you guys when I know things, when I don't know things, and what we don't know is where exactly that heavy rain is going to set up. There's a lot of moving parts in this system, and every single data set I'm looking at showing widely different scenarios for where that heavy rain moves in. But what I can tell you right now is we could be looking out in terms of not a whole lot of rain, or we could be seeing some significant rain. What it's trending where right now is that a lot of that heavy rain is shifting out toward the Catskills, Hudson Valley, mainly out toward western Massachusetts. But we aren't out of the woods just yet, because any slight variation in that low pressure and we can get hit. We've seen this scenario before. It's happened before, where all the data points toward the east and all of a sudden we get slammed with rain. So that's why we have an alert mode, just due to the uncertainty. We're going to do a breakdown regarding that excessive rainfall risk, plus more details on the path of that rainfall straight ahead. Gary?
Eric, thanks. In just over a month, students will head back to the
This live look of downtown Cooperstown is brought to you by the Leatherstocking Credit Union.
Welcome back to Sunrise. Time now is 6:13. Here's a look at your weather on the way as we look ahead to today through tonight. This is the time where we have some impactful weather in our forecast. And as you look right here at the latest in the bigger picture, we have this band of rain coming in right now. As we progress throughout the day today, that band rolls through. It does dry up a little bit. We're not tracking a complete washout with steady rain all day long. We could use that to break the dry spell, but that's not the case today. Now we're watching this band of rain right here. Now the latest data has this heavy rain band basically shifting out toward western Mass, the Hudson Valley, but it could always shift its way back westward into central New York, which is why there's a flooding risk, a moderate flood risk for the area in red here, due to that high potential of 2, 3, 4, 5+ inches of rain. And that yellow zone is the uncertainty zone, and that includes central New York, which is why we are in alert mode, because we've seen this play out before. We've seen that band of heavy rain stay outside of our area, and then last second it pulls its way back westward, and we are in the thick of the flood risk. So we're going to do a bit more of a deep dive into this coming up in just a few minutes. Gary?
Thanks. Even with the potential rain, the Boonville Oneida County Fair opens today.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everybody. Today we are tracking a few thunderstorms rolling through. Right now, though, it appears pretty quiet in downtown Utica. A live view from our camera in the Nexus Center, and kind of similar to yesterday, maybe without that cloud cover. But nonetheless, after a humid start, 68 degrees, the temperature this morning. We look at the radar, and obviously there's a lot of activity taking place, and pretty much all just south of the Mohawk Valley right here, extending all along the Radiate Corridor, heading up north into northern Herkimer County and northern Oneida County. Lightning strikes currently at 92 locally. But a lot of bark and no bite. These storms are producing a lot of lightning, heavy rain. There's no severe weather associated with them right now. The bigger picture shows this low pressure zone slow mover moving its way eastward. And where there's concern is where there's a band of rain right here. You kind of see that pushing in that Atlantic moisture right into an area here in New York and western New England. And that's where the uncertainty lies. We know there's going to be a band of some pretty significant rainfall, but we've seen this play out before where that band is to our west, to our east. We're in the clear, then all of a sudden things line up and we're in the bullseye of this heavy rain scenario when we had flooding. That took place a couple of years ago. Now we see a similar setup right now where it's expected to stay outside of our area, but based off of the high boom versus bust potential, it warrants an alert day, which goes into effect tonight through tomorrow morning. So on our Skycast here, this is what we're tracking, that initial round of rain this morning. After that, a couple of clusters of showers and storms this afternoon, but it's not a complete washout. I want to emphasize that during the day today. Don't expect consistent rain. It's not until we head into tonight, and I'll step aside. You guys can see that rainfall band mainly out to our west a little bit overnight, and that rain band will shift its way east into the afternoon, or west, in the afternoon, with some of those slow-moving thunderstorms. And that flood risk will continue throughout the day Wednesday until this rainfall eventually begins to fizzle out heading into Thursday and Friday. In terms of expected rain accumulation, you can see some of these zones here in orange picking up 2 to 3 inches, some spots close to 4 inches of rain. And again, this is where the thick of it is, but it could shift east or west, and we are included in that risk area. Your 7-day forecast, just based off of that flood potential, we are in alert mode for tonight through much of tomorrow. After that, lingering showers Thursday. Friday and Saturday trending a bit more on the dry side. Still some showers and storms possible late Sunday, but again, we'd rather play it cautious versus be caught off guard in these types of scenarios. But the good news is it's flooding is the only risk. Severe weather like thunder, like tornadoes and you name it, not a concern.
Good news there.
That's right.
Eric, thanks. Be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Our social media handles are right there on your screen. And again, thank you for joining us for this half hour. If you are planning to head up to the Boonville Oneida County Fair today, you might want to grab an umbrella just in case. Eric, some rain is on our way, in our direction at least, down here in Utica, right?
Yeah, it's slowly approaching Utica and other spots. It's actually already arrived and even a bit heavy. In fact, Boonville probably already started their downpour again in the last few minutes. Here's a forecast, though, as you head out the door this morning. And regardless of heading to the fair, if you're heading outdoors by any means today, you're going to want that umbrella and maybe have an opportunity to head indoors if needed because of some thunder and lightning, too. A lot of heavy downpours right along the Shenango-Otsego County line there in the southern valleys, and some of the thunderstorms up in Herkimer County and central Oneida County, hitting Rome with a downpour there, too, and right along the Thruway corridor. And this band of rain is going to continue to shift its way eastward as we head throughout the next few hours. So once this slow-moving system eventually shifts eastward. We're not tracking a washout today, but there's potential for flood concerns tonight through tomorrow, mainly in some localized areas exceeding 2, 3, 4 inches of rain. But full transparency, what I can tell you right now is that there's a lot of unknowns as to where that heavy rain sets up. And I want to emphasize that we've seen these scenarios happen before. We've seen heavy rain forecasted out to our west and east, and then all of a sudden a last-minute change as that band shifts its way back into our area. It's that type of setup. A low-pressure center directly over us, producing some heavy rain at times. But again, with that heavy rain comes uncertainty as to exactly where it falls. So I can tell you right now, not a washout today, but just remain weather aware for some sudden downpours and thunderstorms. Obviously higher of a chance of rain today compared to yesterday, which were mainly pop-up showers. But we are in that flood potential time frame tonight through tomorrow. We'll have a breakdown on that coming up in a full forecast. Gary?
Eric, thanks. And don't forget, the Storm Tracker 2 forecast is never more than 10 minutes away each morning. Well, with the midterms,
Channel 2 is brought to you by Holland Farms Bakery and Deli. This live look of downtown Cooperstown is brought to you by the Leatherstocking Credit Union.
Welcome back to Sunrise on this Tuesday morning. We begin with your photo of the day today, which brings us to the views of Sequoia Valley and a breathtaking shot of a sunrise and the ocean of fog in the lower distance there. Amazing photo sent in by Joyce, and with all the fog yesterday, needless to say, this was a beautiful photo. If you have one like this you'd like to send to us or any other photo showcasing the beauty in your area, go to WKTV.com/weather/pics. And as always, this photo and every photo every morning brought to you by GPO Federal Credit Union. So let's talk the forecast. We have a couple of thunderstorms and downpours here across the area right now. A live look at the radar. We're going to see this rain continue to shift its way east throughout the day. I'm not tracking steady day-long rain, but there is flood risk, especially tonight through tomorrow. I'll break down where that is going to, at least for now, end up and what that means for us in just a few minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks. Severe weather and a possible tornado tore across some Chicago suburbs on Monday. It's the same system that's coming through our area this morning. And you can see just how flooded the streets there became after heavy rain. Drivers trying to brave the floodwater, some even got stuck. Now, huge trees fell on houses, cars, and into the streets. Crews throughout the Chicago area are still working to clear debris and help restore power to residents. Tornado warnings were issued in 3 counties. The time right now is 6:45.
Most dependable weather team. Here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Downpours and rain showers working their way in right now. As a matter of fact, as we take a live look at Rome from the MVCC Rome campus camera there, you can see some of those showers working in, wet parking lots, and some of the wind rolling up. But again, this is a non-severe downpour. Temperatures sitting at 68 humid degrees, and I got a lot of downpours and thunderstorms here. Lightning is the big risk. Again, a heads up this morning as you head outside. Lightning is a storm risk that you should always take seriously. Just watch out for that. Now, we're also seeing some of these cells picking up some hail signatures. It's not confirmed. You guys might be able to see like maybe a few small pellets falling from the sky right now, but again, the big story is mainly some downpours, thunder and lightning, and just that heavy rain. So what happens today is this area of low pressure shifts its way east throughout the day. Now we're tracking this band of heavy rain. See that rain band? That's where the concerning flood area is, and it's to our east. Right now, with the data we have, the brand new data, it's outside of central New York. So why are we worried about having flood concerns here in central New York? Because we've seen this scenario play out before. The models don't do a good job at determining where the center of that low pressure is. And that's concerning because if that low pressure lags behind a little bit, that band of heavy rain, well, that shifts into our neck of the woods. And that spells concern when it comes to rainfall getting as high as 2, 3, 4, 5 inches in the span of 24 to 48 hours. So that's why we have an alert day in effect tonight through tomorrow. And I want to stress that it's a big boom or bust potential. And I could be wrong. You can get mad at me if you want if we get barely anything in terms of rain, which is certainly a possibility. But I'm letting you guys know what I know and what pretty much every other meteorologist looking at all this data is trying to emphasize, because in reality, almost no one knows. And that's always the most difficult part of this job, is trying to forecast the uncertainties. So, needless to say, today I can tell you it's not going to be a steady rainfall, not a complete washout, but it's when we head into tonight, when we have that flood risk. Now behind me here is where that zone of heavy rainfall is. Tomorrow, there's still some flood potential as that backside low pressure zone brings some additional rain into our area. And again, when it comes to expected rainfall here, some sections of the area picking up 1, 2, see these red zones, upwards of 3+ inches of rain. And again, we are in the outskirts of that flood potential, so we're not out of the woods. So because of that, again, we are in alert mode for tonight through tomorrow. Then we have some lingering showers Thursday, drying up Friday, and as of now, Saturday trending nicer, which is good news. We don't have a complete washout this weekend. Sunday maybe a little stormy, but at least we got one weekend day. And plus, I mean, aside from the flood risk tonight through tomorrow, there's no severe storms, not tracking any significant wind damage, no tornadoes. And I think that's a better news to share along with that.
That's for sure. Keep an eye on the flooding, though.
That's right.
Just in case. Eric, thank you. A doctor knows.
With Gary Liberatore and meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us. I'm Gary Liberatore.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
And we begin with some unsettled weather here in the Mohawk Valley. We're even talking an alert day, but for tomorrow, but it looks like it should be an alert day today. Look at this.
Yeah, we got some activity coming in, and again, we're still piecing together what's going on in the atmosphere. We have a better idea now than we did this morning, and let's just jump into it. I'm going to be looking at the radar here for a good chunk of this weather forecast here, because we have a flash flood warning for Ithaca down near the Finger Lakes. We zoom out a little bit. We've got some incredible forcing in the atmosphere right now. Lots of thunder and lightning. Heavy rain is the biggest culprit here. Now, to our east, I want to focus on some of these zones here, those downpours rolling through. These are concerning for basically this zone right here, which has the highest potential for at least flood potential as we head into this evening through the overnight. And literally in the last few minutes, I was just looking at brand new data, and it's good news because we have a better grasp of what's going to be going on. So, as of right now, the farther to the west you are, we're talking closer to Syracuse, onwards out toward Rochester, but outside of our area, and into maybe closer to central Nutty County, we're probably going to lean closer to that 1 inch to 2 inch range in terms of rainfall through tomorrow. But some other spots, the farther west you go, not excluding Herkimer, maybe parts of Otsego, and especially down into Fulton, Montgomery counties, could get as high as 2 inches, 3 inches or more in some of those areas out toward the capital region. Again, I'm going to show that rainfall forecast here coming up in a few minutes. But for now, expect some on and off light to moderate and heavy rainfall today. Better shot for it again tonight as that rain band sweeps through central New York. We're going to break down that rainfall total percentage we're going to see here, plus we're going to talk about that path as it moves through and how much more rain we could see later this week straight ahead. Gary?
Eric, thanks. And Governor Hochul is...
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. Most dependable weather team. Here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good afternoon. We are tracking some rainfall rolling through central New York, heavy at times. Matter of fact, a look in Cooperstown right now, a very rainy scene down in Main Street. A lot of umbrellas out, temperatures sitting in the 60s, upper 60s right now, humid conditions, and certainly some heavy rainfall rolling through. In fact, we zoom in here, there's that heavy rain rolling through Cooperstown right now and parts of the southern valleys. Now, what's going on, this was the complicated part this morning that we were waiting to see what would take place. There are basically two areas of low pressure, and there's a transfer of energy in the atmosphere. Anytime we have these low pressure transfers, let me tell you how difficult it is for computers and anything data related to calculate that transfer and then where the heaviest rain sets up. But now we're starting to see that combination, and we have a better idea of where that heavy rain zone sets up. And this is the brand new data that came in the last few minutes regarding that rainfall. And there it is right here. There's that corridor. Remember earlier this morning, if you tuned in, that rainfall was out toward western Mass. Now it's in the fringes of central New York, right near the capital region, wrapping around as we head throughout Wednesday and into Thursday, which is why we are in an alert mode tonight through tomorrow because of that risk zone. Look at this right here. As we head closer to the afternoon, you can see here we've got a couple of those showers and even a few rumbles of thunder there. But again, out to our west, that's where that rainfall is going to sweep its way through north and eventually work its way in through the overnight and into early tomorrow. So where the flash flooding risk zone is, this is what was commented on by the governor here moments ago, is regarding this slight and moderate risk zones here, which does include central New York here in that yellow zone. And that's why we are in that risk. Tomorrow, mainly out toward New England, but we're still at a fringe risk for any excessive rainfall here in central New York. Now, this is the brand new data showing where that corridor is going to set up. And I have a much higher confidence telling you these numbers than I did this morning, just simply because now we can finally see this energy transfer taking place. And certainly there will be a few stray downpours tapping into that moisture in the atmosphere. So some of these out here, outliers, will be maybe underestimating it. This is not gospel, but this is letting you guys know this is the corridor we're closely watching here that could minorly shift west or east, but I have a much higher confidence in that zone right there. Additional rainfall, of course, will fall in New England beyond that through Thursday, but we're not as much of a risk of that flooding, say, Wednesday night into Thursday as we are tonight through tomorrow. So you see here, we got after today and tomorrow, some sunnier days Friday and Saturday. Listen, we do need the rain as long as there's no flooding concerns, and I think certainly today it's been beneficial rain for the most part. We had some downpours here and there, but largely no big flooding concerns, no flood warnings locally, but we'll stay tuned for any updates on that.
Yeah, let's hope for the best here in our region, that's for sure. Well, the same system that brought us rain and some actually spawned a tornado yesterday in northern Wisconsin, and that tornado turned entire communities into piles of rubble. NBC's Maggie Vespa has more this noon from Menasha, Wisconsin.
Hey there from Menasha, Wisconsin, a city that is largely, as you can see, destroyed. Most buildings here at least badly damaged. In this area, it's like home after home, just in pieces. That one in pieces, this one in pieces, that truck flipped upside down. We just talked to a man who said his wife was inside that truck, told him it flipped several times over the course of about 100 yards as that reported tornado just roared through this city yesterday. But he said, miraculously, she not only survived, but she only has bruises, not even any broken bones. And he called it a miracle. We're seeing people coming out here to kind of survey the damage, survey the scope of this storm and how big it was. Close to 5 reported tornadoes across multiple states, 200 storm reports in the area. We saw heavy wind, rain, hail in the Chicago suburbs. And then an update on a sort of crisis in progress that we were on the scene for last night in Downers Grove, Illinois, where authorities said 2 contractors were trapped in an underground storm drain as it was flooding with that sudden rush of rainwater. They told us overnight one of the contractors, thanks to emergency crews, was rescued. He's hospitalized in good condition. They say the other one is still missing, and they called conditions in that storm system, quote, extremely dangerous because of all of that sudden rainwater and sudden flooding in the area. So again, just devastation across multiple states in this latest round of severe summer weather. I'll send it back to you.
NBC's Maggie Vespa reporting from Wisconsin. Coming up, welcome back. The big story of the day, the weather, as the rain is just moving into Utica, but this system right down here is heading our way, you're saying?
Yes, lots of heavy rain, thunder and lightning, and again, the big thing is the flood concerns, especially as we head into this evening and tonight. Let's take a look right now. Just as a heads up, because this has been the bigger story over the last few weeks, there's no tornado risk, maybe some minor hail, but no damaging wind risk either. This is a flood concern situation tonight through tomorrow above anything else. Obviously, thunder and lightning, you have to practice safer storm tools with that in mind. But here's a look at where things are trending right now. So there's that band of some heavier rain and thunderstorms. It's going to move its way into the Utica area, say in the next hour and a half, 2 hours. In fact, I'll put a storm track on it right here. You guys can see exactly where that's moving in and when it's moving in. Let's move that right here, right about an hour or so into the Mohawk Valley. And it's heavy rain, it's thunder and lightning. That's really about it. Now, basically what we're seeing here is a few more clusters of storms working their way in out in the western parts of Massachusetts and the Hudson Valley and the capital region. That's basically what we're looking at for the highest totals possible. But nonetheless, the dynamics in the atmosphere, these storms are just dumping incredible amounts of rain, which is why we will be in alert mode starting this evening through tomorrow morning, maybe extending later in the day depending on how things shape up. But still, just remain weather aware. Be sure to have the Storm Tracker 2 app handy. You can download it right below me using that QR code. It'll send you flood warnings, timely flood warnings, right to your phone as they happen. Great tool to have, especially in a situation like this. So on and off downpours today. Tonight, we're tracking some of that heavy rainfall. We're going to do a deep dive with the latest data from the rainfall totals coming up in a few minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks. And in Illinois, severe weather last night trapped 2 contractors in a storm drain, and one of those contractors remains missing. Now, this happened at a construction area in Downers Grove. Firefighters were able to rescue one worker who was transported to an area hospital in good condition. That second worker does remain missing. The Downers Grove Fire Department said it transitioned from rescue to a recovery operation and that water conditions made additional search efforts, quote, extremely dangerous. Well, in just over a month, students...
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good afternoon, everybody. Widespread rain rolled through this morning, and we're tracking even more rainfall here in central New York right now. Live look at downtown Utica. A bit of a rainy scene out there, and the radar indicating that rain rolling through much of our area with heavier downpours heading to the south. There was one that rolled through Cooperstown a few minutes ago, and there's another downpour moving its way in from Norwich down in Chenango County, eventually reaching the Utica area in a little less than an hour. So what we were tracking this morning, and for those that tuned in this morning, there was some uncertainty to this forecast. There's a big boom or bust potential because we had 2 areas of low pressure combining into one. It's an energy transfer in the atmosphere. It's all fluid dynamics, fancy word for basically the atmosphere is acting like a fluid. And once this area starts to form, we get a much better idea, and the data gets a much clearer picture of where that band of heavy rainfall will set up. And with the newest data I was combing over just before the show, this is basically where it's setting up. And thankfully, it's setting up just where our not so confident forecast was from this morning and from last night. In this zone right here, Capital Region, Western Mass, and sections of eastern central New York. Wraparound rain continues Wednesday into Thursday, but let's talk a bit about the rainfall. That's the big thing here for tonight through tomorrow, which is where we are in alert mode. So you can see this band of rain starting to form here as we head closer this evening. Heavy at times here out to our east, and it just continues. Continuous rainfall through the overnight, heavy possible thunderstorms and convective showers that will taper off Wednesday morning with more wraparound rain showers throughout the day Wednesday, impacting western parts of our area. So needless to say, we've got a good amount of rain here in the forecast as we head throughout the remainder of the day through eventually tomorrow afternoon. So the latest when it comes to flash flooding risk, you see this red zone there, that's a moderate risk. Level 3 out of 4 for flash flood potential. We are in the yellow zone, which means that variability here, basically, even though we aren't in the exact path of the worst of it, those downpours that fire up, well, they're tapping into a whole lot of moisture in the atmosphere in a very prime environment to produce significant rainfall. In fact, let's paint the picture here of where that heaviest rain lines up. And again, this is the newest data right here, lining up in Hamilton County, maybe sections of the Hudson Valley here, the Catskills, right on our doorstep. And that could shift west or east. Now, there's more rain that falls Thursday, and that'll impact mainly out toward New England area. But again, just looking at this map, give you an idea of how much rain we could see. The orange, 1 to 2 inches. Some of those red zones, 3 inches or more. So there's a lot of potential for some rain in the atmosphere, and that's why it is an alert day, which will go into effect tonight through tomorrow until we think it's deemed fit to cancel it. But again, just remain weather aware, have that Storm Tracker 2 app handy.
Download it if you don't have it.
That's right.
Eric, thank you. Well, your car.
The news with Jason Palace.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. Up until today, most of the area hasn't seen a lot of rain over the last couple of weeks. Well, that's changed. But now we have heavy rain on the way overnight. Let's bring in Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis. He has tapped tomorrow as an alert day. What are we planning on, or what should we be watching for tomorrow?
Well, we're going to be tracking rainfall. I am getting some new updates here, and I do have some good news with this. I don't think we're going to be dealing with flooding. I think it's going to be a heavy rainfall. I think the numbers will be below what would be enough to cause flooding. And here's what's changed. The steadiest and heaviest rain has set up in eastern New York, and this is where it's going to be for the rest of tonight. It's coming down hard and heavy across the Hudson Valley. There's flooding issues that are ongoing up and down in the Hudson Valley and into New Jersey. But again, this is not our concern, at least locally. We're going to be on the fringe of this. This is where the heavy rain stays tonight. This will eventually arc backwards and move in from the west as we head into tomorrow. So while we're not done with the rain, we are done with the worst of this, and we will be getting more rainfall here tomorrow. I think totals will be closer to an inch between what fell today and what falls tomorrow. And so, again, we'll continue to watch things, but I think the risk for flooding is decreasing here. 68 degrees, the current temperature. Again, rainfall total is about an inch here over the next 24 hours total. Looking at rain tonight, mainly east, a temperature of 65. We'll track when the rain does come to an end, and when we do get a chance to clear out, look at the forecast coming up. Jason, back to you.
Bill, thank you. Now, we aren't the only ones dealing with this. Storms could drop more than a month's worth of rain in parts of the Northeast, as more than 36 million people are at risk of seeing flooding across the region. Sherelle Hubbard has the latest on that, due tonight.
Flash flooding from a catastrophic storm is plaguing the Northeast as parts of the region got soaked Tuesday. The expected widespread rainfall totals between 2 and 5 inches, leaving tens of millions of people under flood watches from Philadelphia to New York City and parts of New England. Several stranded cars were submerged in floodwaters in Orange, New Jersey Tuesday, as that state's governor gave a firm warning.
Remember, stay out of any flooding, stay away from it, don't attempt to drive through it, stay away from down power lines.
A major concern is that rain could fall at torrential rates of 1 to 3 inches per hour over urban areas and quickly overwhelm stormwater infrastructure. New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani took to X with a warning of potentially life-threatening flooding, especially for those in flood-prone neighborhoods or basement apartments, advising if flooding begins where you are, move to higher ground immediately. Forecasters warn some cities will see multiple rounds of storms. One driver captured a powerful EF3 tornado ripping through Appleton, Wisconsin Monday, toppling power lines and trees and causing widespread damage in the area, including the city of Menasha.
Going to be many days of uncertainty as we navigate this through, but what's important is that we do it together.
More than 24 hours later, the storm that spawned that tornado is moving east. I'm Sherelle Hubbard reporting.
Happening tomorrow, day 2 of
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Good evening. We're taking a live look at the Yorkville Battery Stern Tracker 2 Doppler radar, and I do have some good news. This band of heavy rain has set up about 50 miles east of where we were originally thinking, which means the chance for flooding is off the table. It's going to be a different story in eastern New York, where rain is going to come down very hard and very heavy. But again, at least for our area, this is not going to be a problem. There are flood warnings, and it's pretty nasty across downstate New York into New Jersey. Multiple flash flood warnings in effect, with a very heavy rain expected heading into tonight. But again, this is going to remain generally stationary, this arc of heavy rainfall. This will eventually move westward, but it's going to take its time doing so. We will see some rain late tomorrow. So we're not done with this, but we're going to have this long break, a long period of time where things will be pretty quiet here for the next several hours into tonight, into the first part of tomorrow. Again, eventually the rain catches up with us. So live look in downtown Utica, things are looking pretty quiet. We did pick up a soaking rain today, even though it may not have rained the whole day for everyone. A lot of places picked up over an inch of rain, especially in Otsego County, Springfield, Lawrence, Morrisville, over an inch of rainfall, Brookfield, close to 9/10 of an inch, and about 3/4 of an inch of rain for Herkimer, as well as Griffiths in Rome. So again, we did get the heavier totals, and again, the risk for flooding is now shifted to the east, and the risk is much lower here heading into tonight. In terms of any severe weather heading into Wednesday, again, really not much going on here. We might see a rumble of thunder at most tomorrow, but even then I feel like that's a stretch based on the weather conditions and the atmosphere. Reminder, you can always get weather information on the go by downloading our Stern Tracker 2 weather app. This rain will slow you down if you're trying to cut the lawn over the next 2 days. It does get nicer. We'll get a chance to dry out on Friday. Our MoCast is brought to you by Clinton Tractor. Again, this area of low pressure just kind of hanging out and stalling to the east. And again, eventually it will push back westward as we head into tonight. Temperatures will be in the 60s overnight. The rain will slowly push eastward, or westward, I should say, heading into tomorrow. Again, we're tracking some steady rainfall across central New York, with additional amounts between about 1/2 inch, bringing totals between 1 inch to 1.5 inches region-wide. So yes, we do get more rainfall, but again, it's not going to arrive until later in the day. Rain to the east tonight, low of 65. Tomorrow, we start out dry. We'll see rain in the afternoon. So we're not done with it, but we'll get a break, a high of 70. Scattered showers on Thursday, 76. Friday, Saturday look dry with sunshine, temperatures in the mid-80s. Showers, thunderstorms Sunday and Monday. And as you can see, no more alert day for tomorrow. Not worried about flooding.
Yeah, good idea. It's always just be weather aware.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Bill. Coming up next, Mourners pay their final.
News with Jason Palace.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. Up until today, most of the area hasn't seen a lot of rain in the last couple of weeks, but that has changed. We have new information tonight on the rain that's coming overnight and into tomorrow. Let's bring in Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis. New data this evening, Bill, and basically it's saying, hey, it's not going to be nearly as bad for us as we first thought, right?
Yeah, my concern was, where was this band of heavy rain going to set up tonight? And it looks like it's going to be 50 miles east, which is huge, because that means flooding is pretty much off the table. In fact, I feel confident enough to say that, to even just take off the alert day tomorrow because of that. Here it is. This is the heavy rain. It's there. It's producing all kinds of problems. Not here, though. This is in eastern New York. Some exceptionally heavy rainfall, flash flood warnings down near New York City. And there's going to be 3 to 6 inches of rain tonight for eastern New York. Some of this will work back to the west as we head into tomorrow. So we're not done with the rain, but we are going to have a pretty large gap in time where it's going to stay dry. So again, alert day is done. Not concerned about any flooding here with this next round of rain moving in. Current temperature 68 degrees. Total rainfall looks to be about an inch between what fell today and what falls tomorrow. A lot of us did pick up rainfall. A lot of us picked up about half an inch of rain or more from what fell earlier today. Tonight, again, showers to the east, pretty quiet. We are tracking a return to rain as this system heads westward into tomorrow afternoon. We're tracking how much additional rain falls and when this comes to an end, and that's coming up. Jason, back to you.
Bill, thank you. We aren't the only ones dealing with heavy rain. Storms could drop more than a month's worth of rain in parts of the Northeast, as more than 36 million people are at risk of seeing flooding across the region. Sherelle Hubbard has the latest on that, new tonight.
Flash flooding from a catastrophic storm is plaguing the Northeast as parts of the region got soaked Tuesday. The expected widespread rainfall totals between 2 and 5 inches, leaving tens of millions of people under flood watches from Philadelphia to New York City and parts of New England. Several stranded cars were submerged in floodwaters in Orange, New Jersey Tuesday, as that state's governor gave a firm warning.
Remember, stay out of any flooding. Stay away from it. Don't attempt to drive through it. Stay away from down power lines.
A major concern is that rain could fall at torrential rates of 1 to 3 inches per hour over urban areas and quickly overwhelm stormwater infrastructure. New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani took to X with a warning of potentially life-threatening flooding, especially for those in flood-prone neighborhoods or basement apartments, advising if flooding begins where you are, move to higher ground immediately. Forecasters warn some cities will see multiple rounds of storms. One driver captured a powerful EF3 tornado ripping through Appleton, Wisconsin Monday, toppling power lines and trees and causing widespread damage in the area, including the city of Menasha.
Going to be many days of uncertainty as we navigate this through, but what's important is that we do it together.
More than 24 hours later, the storm that spawned that tornado is moving east. I'm Sherelle Hubbard reporting.
Happening tomorrow, day 2 of the Boonville.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Good evening. We are taking a live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. And we are tracking heavy rain to the east. And again, some new updates to the forecast. This band of heavy rain is about 50 miles east of where we were thinking it was going to be. We thought this was going to be including Herkimer and Otsego County. And we thought areas here would be getting heavy rain for the majority of the night. That is not going to be the case. This band of heavy rain is going to lift northward and stay to the east overnight, which means our chance for flooding is now off the table. Don't think that's going to be the case tomorrow. We will be tracking some of that rain as it works back to the west, so it's not going to come to an end, but it will be something that will not be as heavy, and again, we won't be dealing with any flooding, so no more alert day. Live look at downtown Utica, things look quiet. We did pick up a fair amount of rain. In fact, I just got a report in Milford of 2.5 inches of rainfall, so the numbers are still pretty high in spots. There were several other places that picked up over an inch of rain. Springfield, Lawrence, Morrisville, Brookfield, just under an inch of rainfall, and about 3/4 of an inch of rain in Herkimer and Griffith. So we have gotten the rain today. We'll get more tomorrow, but again, it looks like the totals will be below the numbers that would cause any flooding concerns. And the risk of flooding, again, shifting east tonight. Some of the new updated maps from the Weather Prediction Center have now drawn central New York away from the higher risk and should be pretty much off the table. Tomorrow, no chance of severe weather here. We could see a rumble of thunder at best. Most of this will be showers arriving, and those will be arriving later in the day. Reminder, you can always get weather information on the go by downloading our Storm Tracker 2 weather app. It's not a great day to try to cut the lawn. We are not dry tomorrow. We are expecting showers. Same thing with Thursday. Friday will be better. Our MoCast is brought to you by Clinton Tractor. So again, tracking some very heavy rain tonight across eastern New York and into the lower Hudson Valley, downstate New York. Again, this weather system will eventually work back to the west. And again, it does bring us showers here heading into tonight. Temperatures will drop into the mid-60s. That rain advancing westward as we head into Wednesday. And we'll be dealing with this on and off throughout Wednesday afternoon and Wednesday evening. But again, the heaviest rain from here going forward will be east of our area. We'll pick up looks like another half an inch of rain throughout the day tomorrow. Again, most of this will be falling in the afternoon. Rain generally east tonight, low of 65. Tomorrow, it's a dry start to the day. Rain will be arriving in the afternoon. It's more showery in nature, not super heavy, but it is a cool day and not the best to be outdoors, a high of 70. Showers Thursday, 76. Sunshine returns Friday and Saturday. Warmer temperatures in the 80s. The chance for some pop-up showers and storms Sunday and Monday.
Salvage a few days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, a little bit of Sunday.
Yes.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Bill. Coming up